Today we are simply estimating quotients. Now, if you would remember, if you can remember, all the way back before fall break. And these math problems, most of us mastered. We did a really good job on our assignments where we said maybe, let's say 383 divided by 2. All right, and what was our first step? And the reason why I'm going over this is because we're going to be doing double-digit divisors this time. So we need to go back and make sure that we understand this for sure. So, Lauren, what's the first step that I would need to take here? Divide what? 2 inside of 3. How many times does 2 fit inside of 3? Once. Now, the same thing's going to apply today where we divide first, then we multiply, then we subtract, and then we bring down. And if we bring down, we have to start this process over again. Okay? So I left that up on the board there because that is the same thing we're going to use today. It's just double digits. Well, not today necessarily, but tomorrow for sure. So what's my next step? She said 2 goes inside of 3 one time. So now what I do, Ireland? Yeah, you do 1 times 2, which gives you what? Now what do you do? Anybody else? What else do you do now? Emma? You subtract, yes. And what's 3 minus 2? 1. Ray, what do I do now?
You have to bring down the 80.
Bring down that 80, says. All right, now what do we do, Ethan? We've done the bring down. Now we're repeating this process. Divide. Divide what into what? 2 into 18, he says. Which is 9, he says. Now what do we do? Asher, what do we do? 9 times 2, which is? We subtract those. We're going to get what?
0.
Now what do I do? Somebody else? Emmeline, now what do I do? Bring down your 3. All right. Now we brought down. We repeat the process over again. And now we say 2 goes inside of 3. How many times? Anybody once? 2 times 1 is 2. Subtract. You're going to get, do we have anything to bring down? So 191, remainder of 1. Now, it surprises me how many people on today's math assignment still got, even though I went around and asked about everybody in here a little something, but yet a lot of those same people missed the division problems on the morning work. You know, you might have just written down 191 as your answer, but you forgot to put R1 on there. All right, so those are the little things you need to make sure that you're paying close attention to on your morning works, because all that stuff is review. And it's very shocking to me to see you guys do a subtraction problem like 3,786 minus 1,004. And this is one of the easiest problems that I could have written out for you. And then I'll get exactly. How do I get that? What did I do? I added instead of subtracted. So that's what some of you guys are doing, is you're subtracting instead of adding. You got to pay attention to what that guy was originally. Originally, it was a subtraction. So those are some of the silly mistakes that we're making on our morning work that's costing us some big points. Whatever. All right, so today is estimating quotients. And again, estimating means we're not coming out to an exact answer. We are coming up with a close answer. And the main strategy, or main lesson, the main question over this entire thing is right here. Everybody see it? Somebody read that to me. Oh, thank you, Ray. Go ahead and read it since you already are.
What strategies can I use to divide a 2-digit divisor?
Okay, to divide by a 2-digit divisor, okay? So I'm going to give you some different strategies. The end game. What you need to be able to do is you need to divide just the standard equation, just a regular old, like I learned when I was your age. That's what we're trying to get to eventually. But I'm going to give you different strategies. Today we're going to estimate. You can use rounding and compatible numbers to estimate quotients when dividing by two-digit divisors. Now remember, this is a divisor. That's a divisor. Everybody say that. That is the divisor. Go ahead and put that above your thing there. Divisor. Divisor. Anybody remember what this guy right here was called? Dividend. Dividend. Anybody know what the answer was called? Quotient. Or we'll just label it a Q. Quotient. I know it's easier to say answer, but hey, we say that to decide which problem we're doing. Quotient is divide. A product is an answer to a what? A product is an answer to a what kind of problem? Multiplication. Thank you, Ray. I thought I heard Ray. Oh, I thought I heard Ray say it. He's up there flapping his gums. I thought he answered it. All right. So we can use, as it said up there, rounding and compatible. Now you know how I feel about compatible numbers. Not a fan of them, but if we have to use them, we will, and to make our problem easier. So down here, the school principal has 812 flyers. I'm going to circle 812. You do the same. To pass out equally to 19 teachers. I'm going to underline about. Underline about twice. Okay? So I circled my numbers. 8, 12, and 19. So since we're talking division, most likely I'm going to be dividing those numbers, and you can already see that we are. We have 812, which I circled, and 19 I circled right here. So down here. Big number divided by the smaller number. Now, I know that I can't divide these in my head. And if you can, you probably need to be in a different grade. Even I can't. I mean, I can look at it and guess, but I'm not going to. So we're going to round these and make them numbers easier. And remember what I said? You want to round your numbers to give you a zero. As many zeros as possible. So what are we going to round this 19 to? Somebody else.
20.
He says 20. Let's round that to a big 20 there. Put that to a 20. And then I want to look at this and I want to say, okay, does 20 go into 812? Is that easy to do in your head? No. So we're going to round this also. What are we going to round 812 to? What? Yeah, see, I want to keep the 8. And as I said earlier, I'm going to keep as many zeros as I can. So I'm going to have 2 zeros there. So now we have our main problem is 800 divided by 20. Now my next step. Here's what I would do. When I'm dividing, and you can only do this when you divide. Remember when we multiply, we had to add zeros on? Now we get to strike zeros out. We can get rid of extra zeros. So we start with the small number. We say, how many zeros are here? 1. Cross them out. If we cross 1 out here, Gavin, we got to go over here and we got to cross a 0 out there. So now my problem is actually 80 divided by 2. And now I have an easier problem because then I say, well, how many times does 2 go into 8? 4 times. How many times how many zeros do I have? I'm sorry. So my answer is 40. So each teacher would receive about 40 flyers. It looks like a horrible number. It's a big class. All right, without flapping your gums, raise your hand. How many of you get that? How many of you understood what we just did there? Did you understand the striking out the zeros?
I didn't.
Okay, we're going to do more, but I just want to see on which ones didn't. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is not a math. a word problem now. We just have a problem up here. We have estimate 234 divided by 41. All right, that's all we got to worry about right now. And we're looking at this. Another way we could have written this, as I said over here, is 234 divided by 41. Now, see, now it looks a little harder. You look at that and you're like, ooh, I don't know about this. You know, it's a lot of numbers. So we're going to round this 41 here to what?
40.
I like 40. We're going to round that to 40. Okay? Now, this is where the compatible numbers come along. We're going to change the dividend, the 234, to something that works best with this 4 right here. We know that 4 doesn't go into 23 evenly. But doesn't go into 23. But what will 4 go into evenly that works a little bit better, Emma? Let's try 24 right here. So we're going to write 24, and then we're going to write a 0. All right. That's what you call a compatible number. So now we have 240 divided by 40, which is this answer here and this answer here, 240 divided by 40. And now we're going to go up here and we're going to strike zeros. How many zeros are right here? Cross them out. How many we got crossed out over here? We cross that out also. Do we cross out any more zeros? No, we don't have any more. So Ireland, now we have 24 divided by 4. And what is 24 divided by 4? 6 is your answer. So 234 divided by 41 is about, no, it said about 6. About. Okay, about. It's actually 246, but it's pretty close. I mean, it's 12 off. And let's go down here to the guided practice real quick. Estimate 312 divided by 31. Now, Asher Owens, what are we going to round this 31 to? All right, good. 31 into 30. All right, we're going to round the dividend, 312. What are we going to round that to? That's going to work well with this 3. I know 31 isn't a very good number to work with. Ireland, what do you think? 300 probably be the best. It's closest. So now we have 300 divided by 30. It's this number here, this number here. Ireland, I'm going to have you strike out since you said that you didn't know. So Ireland, how many zeros? We start on the smaller number. How many zeros are there? So we cross out the only 0 there. So that means we got to go over here and cross out only 1 0. So now our problem is 30 divided by 3. What's 30 divided by 3, Sailor? No, that's times. 30 divided by 3. Think again. I'm not going to get away that easy. Nope. Shh, you be quiet. 30 divided by 3. I guess the easier way of looking at this, Sailor, is how many times will 3 go inside of 3? And then how many zeros are there? So 10 is our answer. So it's about 10. Okay, about 10. About 10. Okay. Independent practice. I'm going to have somebody walk me through this problem here. And how many, raise your hand if you feel confident. You feel confident in what you're doing. All right, perfect. Brighton, walk me through the first one. What are we going to round 121 to? Okay. 120 divided by, we're going to round 42 to.
40.
Okay, sounds good to me. All right, now what?
Cross out the 0 on the 40 and on the 120.
Okay, now what?
How many times is 40 on the 12?
And that is?
30.
Good job, girl. Come get a sucker. Or go get a sucker. I got very few left. Who else feels confident enough that they can walk me through this entire problem? Who said me? Asher Owens. Let's try you. Don't do anything to that guy. All right. Round 23 to 20. Okay. What is it? Which one? Okay, now what?
And then the end of the long.
All right, now what?
And now you get 20.
Yeah, 40 divided by 2 is indeed 20. 20. Easy enough, right? Go ahead and get you a sucker, Asher. Colton Grubbs, do the next one.
So you run 640 given 640.
Yes, sir.
You run that 83 to 8.
Yes, sir.
Then you get 8.
So what do I do now, though?
Cross those zeros.
Cross out these zeros, right? And then he says you get 64 divided by 8 is 8. I don't know why I wrote that one in red, but yes. Good. Get you a sucker, brother. Count how many I have left in there so I'll know how many more volunteers to have. Who else feels comfortable? Ireland. A 20? What are you making 597 into? We get around 597 to what's the closest 100? Let's round that to 600. So you want to change your 28, not 20, but maybe a what? Huh? 30, yeah, 30. And then Ireland, what do we do next? Okay. Okay. Now how many times does 3 go into 60? No, 3 goes into 6 how many times? Twice. So it's 20 times. Yeah, there you go. Good. Get you, sucker. You tried. All right, let's go with Ethan. You want to try? Oh, no. 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 Get the same people. Some of you I want to get out of your zone, out of your scaredy cat zone and answer some questions here. I know you know how. Laura, go ahead. Try one. $240, you mean? There you go. All right. We get around 38 too. Okay, 40. Now what do we do? I got my red ink pen. Okay, so 24 divided by 4 is what? I think what I'm seeing with Ireland and you both is when we flipped it around like this, when it doesn't look like this, and then we threw it inside the brackets here, it kind of messed with you a little bit, didn't it? Kind of messed with you because you're like, wait a second. Again, just think of these big number, small number. Round them, same way. And who wants to try that ever so tough number 7? It's a rough one. Asher, go ahead. Okay. Okay. That is right, and that was tough. Not a lot of people would probably know that 47 times 2 is 94. A lot of you probably would have, my guess would have said you would have taken 943 to maybe 1,000. Maybe, I don't know, but good job. Yeah. Now we got to use compatible numbers. Compatible. I don't like these, but anyway, we'll try it. We'll give it a shot. Come on, it ain't that bad, is it? What are we going to round 52? That's pretty easy. What are we going to round 52? to 50. Let's try that one. 50. All right. Now, what are we going to round 653 to? Emma. I would too. Now, the book did something different. They said to round it to 700. I like that one, your idea better. Because then you ask yourself, well, if we cross out these zeros, then you got to say, well, how many times will 5 go into 65? 13, yeah. If you count by 5, 10, you do that, you get them up to 13. So their answer was 14. We had 13. Ours is a little closer, maybe. All right, let's try number 9. Who wants? Okay, Lauren, go ahead and try. Okay. It does go. The answer is indeed 4, but I think I would have rounded this 210 to what? Anybody else know? 200, right? Because the 5 would go into 20 4 times, but you had the majority of it right. That's still not bad. Emma. Okay. Turn into 60. Okay. Well, actually, let's take the zeros out first. Take a 0 out here. We got to take 1 out here. So now we have 30 divided by 6. So how many times will 6 go into 30? Boy, Emma, your voice sounds a lot like Asher's nowadays. Or whoever just blurted that out. 5, yeah. 5. Not Asher Thompson, but yours. 5. You got it 5 times. All right. Who wants to try number 11? Levion. Who hasn't done one yet? Sailor wants to try. All right, Sailor. Yeah, she does. All right, what are we going to round? Let's start with the 32 first. Let's try that. Okay. Now what? 620. Okay. Now what? Time you see me get my red ink pen out, you know we're taking something off. Now what? I think you did a lot like Lauren did earlier. I believe it was Lauren. I would just said this was 600. Okay. Because 3 goes into 6 twice, and then you got the 1 0, so your answer is 20. That's what the book has, 20. She said 63, which would have been right also. If you did 630 divided by 30, cross those out. 3 goes into that 21 times, so it's still pretty. Hers a little closer, but either one would have worked. Number 12. Number 12. All right, Colton Grubbs, you go.
You run 840 to 847 to 840.
Yes, sir. I agree.
And then make that 40. I might have a little trouble on the 40. I'm running the 43 here.
Well,
40 would have been too much.
I think 40 is perfect for that. Now what do you do, Colton? Got my red ink pen out. What do you think we're going to do?
Cross the 0.
Yeah, so we're going to get rid of that 0, get rid of that 0, right? Now we just have 84 divided by 4. I can do that in my head because how many times is 4 going to 8?
2.
How many times is 4 going to 4? 21 is your answer. The book says 20, so we got a more accurate. We did more mental math than a little bit more difficult than they did.
I didn't know math was mental.
And let's go ahead and do.
Couldn't you have done 850 and then told the 433 into the 45 or something?
Maybe, yeah. Let's get Ethan. Ethan's raising his hand. All right, Ethan, what are we going to round 272 to? Huh? 300? Let's do the 34 first. What are you going to round 34 to? Okay, so let's play with that 3 then. 3, does 3 go into 2? Does it go into 27? Yeah, so let's just do 270. How many times will 3 go into 227? We hear whispers. Even back here, I hear it. 9, yeah. 3 goes into 27 9 times. Let me see a show of hands by hands straight up if you definitely get this. Do this if kind of. Do this if no, you don't get this at all. Of course, Ray. All right, so I'll have you guys work back here at the back table. Mikey, Grubs. If you guys are Mrs. Crockett's, just come back here then. The rest of you, I'll be around to help on the homework here.